Man, my week's been pretty good. Now we're live. There we go. Um, it's it's been fast. I flew in here last minute to get it all rolling.
All
Now, if you
right.
got the show playing in the background, yeah, hit that mute.
Let me mute that.
Cool.
All right, I got it.
I got it. Here we are.
Someone
Okay.
just told me to text them the information. I got to figure out how can I text it, but I'm good.
Text them the website or text them the YouTube channel.
Yeah, they want me to text them. They want to get on right quick, so I'm just trying to figure out
Okay.
how to do it.
Well,
But
if you go onto YouTube, you could search Real Estate 101 John Fuller, and you'll come to our channel, or Real Estate 101 Alex Bailey, and you can find the channel in a YouTube search bar if you want to watch it that way, because we're there on
okay,
YouTube and on Facebook. Either way, you can put in your comments either as the live comments on YouTube or the ones on Facebook.
okay,
Just make
great.
sure if you're on the YouTube, you're picking the live show, not one of our archive shows from the past.
Okay, I was trying to say. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. So how's everything been going today, man? Everything going good?
Yeah, everything's going fast. I've been kind of tracking the trends. It seems like the exodus from the big cities, your New York, Los Angeles, Chicago,
Uh huh.
Minneapolis, is continuing. The rents in New York City are dropping because landlords can't find people to pick up a new lease because more people are leaving than are staying. And then the
Wow.
realtors who are we live in Columbia, South Carolina. These markets are growing, these mid-tier, smaller markets, as they see folks move out of those cities and
Wow.
into these areas. Yeah, so it's a it's the beginning of a trend that's going to keep on going because it's just at the point where some people it's like, I want to live in a safe place with low taxes.
Well, hey, man, that's good. South Carolina is the place.
South Carolina is a place,
I,
and
I, I
then there's
want to
another
say this.
side.
I do have a house in South Carolina. Someone's a great deal for investors, or it's a great deal for a person that want to move into a house and do a little rehab to it.
Okay.
It's in a great neighborhood. It's the one I tell you about, 149 Garden Springs. It's still available. The
Where's
guy
that?
just
What's
got
the name?
back and he told me, he said, "Hey, John, we need to move it now. So he's moving to his other house. So hey, anybody out there looking for a house, give us a call. Hit us up. Text us up.
Give
Come on,
us.
South Carolina.
It is Columbia. Okay, and say that address one more time.
149 Garden Springs.
149 Garden Springs.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one I had sent you a couple days ago. Well,
Okay.
about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And the
Very
guy,
good.
he was out of town. But it's an awesome deal. Real awesome deal. I mean, it's one of those deals that got plenty of equity in it. If somebody want to fix it up the way they want to, or we can fix it up and sell it to them. But it's an awesome deal.
Okay. And
Yeah.
John, if they want to email you about that with your this is your email address for your store, and that's johnfullerbiz@gmail.com.
There you
So
go.
if you are interested in that house, shoot John an email, and he'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah, we got several houses out there. I mean, that's just one of them, but we do have several houses out there. We got the house in Florence. We got the one down there in Florence that we showed a couple weeks ago, and we got this one right here that just came back up. So this one is a real exciting house, Alice. I mean, it's a house we can get in, probably low 100s, and they can fix it up and then turn around and have equity in it once they move into it. It's one of those deals, that we.
So you want to tell us the math on that a little bit, fix it up, what that looks like, and then what
I'm
do you
thinking,
think
I'm
first?
thinking, the fix up is looking somewhere right around one, probably gonna be in the neighborhood of about 15 to 20, depending
Okay.
on what they want to put into it. They're gonna go back with granite countertop. They're going back with tile floors. It just depends on what they're gonna go back with. But I'm looking at somewhere right around 15 to 20, to fix it up. It got good numbers on it. 65, 165, 170 numbers in that neighborhood, so it's pretty good.
And what's the buy price? Did
Buy
they
price would be somewhere right around that 110 to 115 mark. You know,
Okay.
I mean, for like we always talk, for an investor can leave some money, or even for a person that looking to buy a home, it's a great deal for someone looking to
Well,
buy a home.
sounds like to me you're looking at about a $30,000 to $35,000 of equity once you fix it up, which
Yeah,
won't take long. And not
no,
only that, you're getting what you want.
yes,
Your paint colors, your taste, you
right,
get to make for your house.
yes,
Which when you buy a house, it's all pretty and
yes,
new. that's great, but it may not suit your particular styles. So yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, this particular house here is an awesome deal. I had one lady ask me about putting a garage on it. It didn't have a garage on it, but other than that, got fenced in backyard, plenty of shade trees around it, in an excellent neighborhood. About 1,900 square feet on the house, three bedroom, 3.5 bath home. Real good home, real nice home.
Okay.
So if anybody looking for it, most definitely it's a good deal. So hey. And we might do a little creative financing on that one. So, that's something we're going to talk about today. So we might do a little creative financing on that one with the right down payment.
Right. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about creative financing. Most people, when they think about buying a house, they think, well, I need to go down and see my banker.
Right.
And then he's going to get me a mortgage, or she. And then we buy a house, right? But
right.
that is a good way. And that is a way most people go for buying houses. But there are a lot of other options, which we can't cover them all today, but we'll cover a couple.
Yeah.
Which one would you like to start with?
Well, as I'm always all about creative financing, and one of the ones that I like the best that I bought a lot of houses through is taking over the mortgage, or either what you call it,
subject to.
Subject to
existing financing.
Yeah, how to buy subject to property. So that would be a good one to start in on, because I got about 3 mortgages like that right now that we've done subject twos on. So,
okay.
That would be a real good one to start in on. Then we can kind of brainstorm from there and go from there. You got your board?
I can bring a board up right now. Let's start with a blank sheet of paper. So give me a second here.
Matter of fact, we can use this house right here. I don't know what the down payment will have to be for a subject to on this one, but we can use this house. We can use the one I got in Florence, or whichever one, but we can use this house as an example with the numbers.
Okay.
For the subject to.
Okay. Let me bring this over to another screen over here that I can see easily. And click. Okay. And then I will blow this up too, so it's easier to see. Okay, John, let's start with an address.
Well, we'll just put this in that. We'll just stay under 149 Garden Springs. We'll start with that one on this one.
149 Garden Springs is our house.
Yeah.
Just the title, and then I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay.
There you go. We can see it real good.
All right. So let's start with our purchase price. And that will be how much?
Well, let's do this purchase price here right around 110. That would take care of the seller, and the seller can make his money, and this is the final price on it.
Okay.
And then we can go into the I guess the rehab. I guess that's what you want next.
Well, no, let's look at what's the underlying note that's on this house.
The underlying note on this house right here is around $84,000.
The first
and it doesn't have a 84.
Okay, so for just to kind of walk it through, it's the when you're buying a house, most people's houses. Whoops, wrong screen. Most houses come with debt to it when they close.
Right.
Look at me. I know exactly what I'm doing, right? Most people's houses come with some underlying debt. In this one, the first mortgage is $84,000.
Correct.
On a typical sale of a property, you will find that you've got to get your own financing, and it pays off the underlying debt that's there. In this case, this $84,000.
Correct.
But what we're saying is, when you do a subject to mortgage, you're not going to erase that debt. You're going to continue to pay on and let it continue to exist there. So you're just assuming taking over that mortgage, and your attorney could set that up for you.
And a lot of deals are bought like that, Alice. I want to say that for investors, a lot of deals out there are bought this way, to the point where you can come in with a little bit of cash and then take over somebody's mortgage.
Right, because you want to buy this as an investor with not doing that, you've got to come in with $110,000 plus your rehab.
Right.
Versus I'm just going to pick up your $700 a month payment.
Yes.
Instead.
And like I say, I like to talk to a lot of the people out there from an investor point of view and from a new homeowner point of view. You can buy deals like this through new home ownership. First time buyers, and all that can get the deals that way. Cash required for closing.
That would be the purchase price minus the debt because you're taking over the debt.
Right.
You're only going to need $26,000 as opposed to $110,000.
Right.
To get into the deal.
Right.
On the and again,
we always can get creative on that because we can with the down payment that they put down, then they just take it over the note, and then we can fix the house up, and then they can turn around and refinance out.
Well, there's that, and there's also if you want to add another creative financing on a creative financing, you could say, owner, why don't you finance my down payment? All
correct.
Or portion.
Yes.
So I don't have $26,000. Maybe all I've got is $10,000.
Right.
Perhaps the seller can take on $16,000 in a second note, which will be behind the first mortgage. So if the owner, or let's call it seller to keep it clear, seller second for $16,000, you ask him and tell him and I'm going to clear you out in a year or two.
Right.
Put a timetable. You'll get your cash, but it'll just come a little bit later, and I'll pay you interest.
That's right.
So if the seller takes a second like that, then the 5 minus.
And just to let the people know, I mean, like what we're doing is this is a house that is worth like 165 to 170. So the house is worth more than they're getting it for. So those are the type of deals you want to do. You want to walk into the deals with equity. You don't want to go and buy retail and don't have any equity in the house. So you want to walk in with equity. So this is a good way to buy houses, both investors and new first home buyers.
Right.
Yeah. So cash required by the buyer if the seller carried a second will be right around that $10,000.
Right. And then, so let's bold this.
Okay.
It's easier. I think I'm going to bring this back over into this tab and make it, because this is my propped up screen. So
there you go.
That make it easier to read. Okay. So subject to,
and just let the new people that are coming on know what we're talking about. Cause I'm seeing a few people popping up. We're talking about creative financing right now today. You know, we're trying to, show you other ways.
Whoop, breaking up a little bit there, John. So this is all the money that you're going to be required out of pocket as the buyer. This $10,000. Losing John's stream a little bit. Okay, John also mentioned, and we'll come down another line here. You're going to have to put some rehab into this house. That's going to be about $15,000. With the final value, $165,000. And then, so the only money you're being required to put up in this situation is the 10 plus the 15 for the rehab. And if we were to add those two together, I'm going to put that off to the side here as a little side note. $25,000 out of pocket. Paint format. Whoop. And let's jump back over and add John back to the stream. John, you there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I think your internet went a little kerflooey over there, but that's okay. We got you back. Not a problem. We can handle any technical difficulty here at Real Estate 101. All right. So this is the total cash from the buyer at this point.
Okay.
25,000. The final value is 165. So the equity is the difference between what is owned, which is the 165, and what is owed, which are the debts. So 165 minus first mortgage of 84 minus seller second of 16. So your equity is $65,000.
Okay. So that's
right. That's your well. You did put some of your own money up, so let's take out the money that you put into it too. Excuse me, minus what you put in. Well, that is still your equity. Excuse me.
yeah, that's still your money though. The money you put in is your money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So your profit position is really the 65 minus the 25.
Right. If you're gonna sell it. If you're going to sell it, you still got $40,000 profit. If you're going to hold on to it, you got $65,000 equity.
Well, John, what could you do here if you want to get your $25,000 back? You could go in a few months or a year from now. You could refi this. It's a $165,000 house. If you refied it to a $150,000 loan, you'd get all your cash back out, plus a little.
You can do that. And you also can go and do a line of credit against it, do a HELOC on that.
Right.
You also do a HELOC on that.
And just use the money whenever you wanted to.
Right.
Well, it could be that your rates are more favorable. Your first mortgage, if your first mortgage is older than yesterday, it's going to be a higher rate. Then typically your seconds are going to be even a higher rate than that. That
right.
$16,000 you carried, you probably promised that guy 5 or 6% interest on it. But if you refinance the whole thing, you could come back in at 3% on that house, or 2.95, depending upon who we asked today. Let's look at the magical 30-year mortgage rate site and see where we are. Let me share this with the crew here. Stop screen and share screen and switch to that tab, 30-year mortgage rate. Share it. All right. So you can see the mortgage rates have just gone down, and then we're here at 3.03%.
Wow. Rates are low right now.
Let me zoom in a little bit so that makes it easier to see. 3.03%. And I believe this data is as of the week of July 9th. So once a week, YCharts updates. So when they update again, I believe that is now at 2.95%.
Wow. If you're in the market now, you need to be buying. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Well, also, too, if you own a house, if your rate is the rule of thumb is roughly a point or a point and a half above where you currently are, and you're not going to move for the next 4, maybe 5 years. If you're pretty sure you're not going anywhere, then it's a good idea to refinance.
Oh yeah, you can refinance that. I mean, correct now. It's the times are awesome right now.
Right.
It's just a great time to do this.
It is a great time to do this. So
if you're not doing it right now, then wow. I don't know what you're waiting on.
Well, it's location is still the word of the day in these markets too. And you want to make sure you are, I don't think I'd be going out and buying houses in Manhattan right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be buying in downtown Chicago. I would not be buying in Los Angeles. Any city with a football team is something that you really want to take a careful look at, unless you're getting at a fire sale. That's not where it's like surfing. You go where the waves are. Yeah. And the waves are in your mid-tier cities and even country living. I mean, if you live in a rural environment, you're going to have in another month, I think now they're saying end of the year, Starlink is going to be up and running. So that's the satellite internet service that the same guy that makes Tesla, Elon Musk, has got Starlink, and he's launching thousands and thousands of satellites to give you internet. So you'll have higher speed internet living in the country than we're getting in the city now.
Wow.
Within about 6 more months. In about another year, it'll be covering the whole country. They're going to start from the north and come down. So the northern states getting it first because that's where the satellite's orbiting, and then down to the equator. And then you put like a little dish yay big up, and it locates the satellite all by itself, and boom, you've got it. So if you want to work from home environment, if that's the kind of job you have, you want to get good bang for your buck.
Wow.
Some of these smaller towns are the places to be now. That's the trend, with the remote working.
Well, especially with the virus and stuff going around, man, you got land in between your houses.
Yeah. You're social distancing by where you live.
Most of the houses in the country, you got at least 20 to 30 feet between each house.
Right.
Even in the subdivisions, even in these small subdivisions down here, you got that.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So you got some land in between it, so your social distance is real good down in the country. Even though you like that city life, you know the country life. Hey, you get to plant your gardens and all that stuff we get talked about.
Right. Just hold on, reminder real quick for the audience: if you have any questions about the math, or if you have an example you want to run that you can think of, or just something you want to share, please enter something in the comments here on Facebook or on the YouTube channel.
Right.
And we'll take those comments. We'll pull them up. If we can answer that question, we will. Or we'll do an example here on a spreadsheet if you need to about the creative financing. But subject to, real simply, is don't pay off the first mortgage. Just assume it. Just take it over and make those payments.
And of course, you have to get with an attorney and make sure you write all the paperwork up the correct way for you on the subject to.
Right.
We just give you the numbers.
Right. It's still a closing. You're still doing a title search. You're doing everything as normal except making a payoff for the first. Yes. Or even the second. If there may be a first and a second on a property, you can subject to both of that. I bought some rental houses that way. When I didn't have any money, I wanted to buy rental houses. I basically were able to pick up rental houses for like $3,000 or $4,000 because people had bought no money down houses and then they wanted to leave, and they realized I don't have any money left over after selling it conventionally with a realtor, but I do have 10% equity in here. But at a normal closing, when the realtor gets 6%, I'm not getting any money anyway.
Right.
So I just found those people. I mean, it took a little, door knocking and emailing and things like that to get it. But I just have recently sold some, because some of those were like 20 years ago. And then the houses appreciated, and you walk away 10 years later, you didn't put any money into it, and it cash flows you for 10 years, and then you make $60,000, $70,000 at closing because you paid down the debt.
That's
and
right.
It grows in price over time, and so the debt was down $15,000, $20,000, and it appreciated $30,000, and then boom, and it really didn't cost you anything. But
it's like having money in the bank.
It is. Well, it's a money printing machine.
Yes.
Every month that rent check comes in, and you got to pay the debt with part of that money, but then you're left over with $100, $150.
Yeah. I love, like I always say, I love real estate because there's so many different ways to get into it. This is a way too. This is another way to let you guys know that where credit checks don't come into play. I mean, on a lot of the creative financing, if you're gonna do some flipping, you can get this house right here, and you already got a buyer for it. They're not really pulling your credit. You put the down payment down, and in this case, you would have made $40,000 flipping it back out. You know, and you never even get your. So there are ways to buy houses. I guess you want to say with no credit. That's a perfect way right there. It's a substitute right there. That's a perfect way of doing it. So I want to let you guys know there are ways to do it.
Right. What are some other so subject to is one way to do a deal. What's another favorite of yours that you like for?
Well, I say the same. I call it the same, but I call it a leverage buyout, especially when I'm doing more on the business side. I go in and I buy the LLC from the person and leave them on the LLC, and then turn around and pay them out in a refinance. And I kind of call that leverage buyout, but that kind of almost the same thing as a subject to. But when you're doing a business, you got income producing. So let's say, for instance, you got an apartment complex and something, it is producing income. The leverage buyout allows you to buy the LLC without having to go straight to the bank up front and put down a large down payment. you can buy the LLC from them and put them on the LLC with you, and then refinance them off of the LLC.
So you're
Once you do
partners on that LLC.
you kind of partner, you kind of partner with them on the LLC, and what you're doing, you're buying the LLC. So we just did a deal like that in Augusta, where I had a customer that was in my program, and they had a house because the people lived in Texas, and the particular owner of the house didn't want the house anymore. So what we did was we went in and did what we call a leverage buyout, kind of the same thing as subject to, and he bought that LLC from that guy, and then he turned around and fixed the house up and sold the house, and the guy got paid off. So it was one of those deals where the guy lives out of town and he really wasn't coming back over here. So we actually did a leverage buyout on that, and that's where you buy an LLC. I call it leverage buyout. That's where you buy LLCs, But it's almost like it's about the same as a subject to. Pretty much the same thing.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
But I call it leverage buyout.
And then there's also, as we mentioned, that there's more opportunity in the rural or not big city. When I say rural, I'm not talking about 50 acres and a little house. I mean like more suburbia also as well, just outside the big cities. What's available to people there financing wise? You mentioned, I believe, before the show, like USDA is a good option.
USDA is an awesome way, and I want to talk about that, guys. You got two different type USDA out there, and this is also in the book that I put in there. And the reason I put this in the book is because you got guaranteed and you got direct. I like direct because direct give you more options. And one day we might can get a USDA person on here to really talk a little bit more about it. But direct gonna give you more options. They give you stuff. They subsidize you a little bit. So for instance, if you got a rent and your house payment about $700, and you got say you got kids, you really can't afford it, they'll subsidize that half. That USDA will pay half of that for you. Let me put it this way, up to half of that for you to make sure you fit inside your DTI, inside your budget to be able to afford that particular house. So that's a good program. Now you don't get that with guaranteed. Closing costs is much lower when you go direct. Because when you go guaranteed, you're going through a mortgage person, and that mortgage person got to get paid. And if you get a realtor involved, then they got to get paid. But if you go straight direct to USDA, and every city has one, they have a main offer USDA, and you guys get ready.
There goes that internet again. I think John's hotel room is not giving him that strong signal.
And your rate's a little bit better.
Okay, let's do this. Back up 30 seconds and start over because your internet hiccuped and we didn't see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the USDA, and I was talking about USDA. The difference is, and the rate is a little bit better at that time. So you get a little bit better rate going direct than you do going guaranteed. You don't have the mortgage brokers involved, so therefore you're not paying the fees on the mortgage broker. So you're going directly it's actually really going directly to the government. So you're dealing directly with the government workers, the people that work for USDA.
Okay.
Awesome program.
What kind of credit issues or what do you need to be prepared for doing a USDA loan?
Well, if you go guaranteed, you need to be around that 640. If you go direct, you can probably get in, under 6, because they're not as heavy on the credit driven part of it. It's more as they are, can you afford this house? And they'll let you do a lot of alternative credit going USDA than to going direct. So you can do a lot of the alternative credit, like the light bill, insurance payment on your car. You can put that in there on the USDA direct. I've done a lot of direct deals, so I know we kind of build a profile on the direct deals. It's not as cut and dry as it is with guaranteed. Guaranteed just cut and dry. Hey, we got this matrix we go by, and this is what you got to do, and this is what you got to have. You going guaranteed. You're going direct, a little bit more flexibility. And the rate's cheaper. Right. Don't forget about the rate.
Okay.
Now it do take a little bit longer with guaranteed. It do take a little bit longer. Because people are flooding it right now, so it's a little bit longer. But if you can just probably about another month and a half longer, if you can kind of take that time, you're going to get a better rate. Everything's going to fit better for you with going.
Is it a better idea to get that going before you pick your house?
I would, yes. I'll go ahead and get myself pre-approved on that. They got everything automated now. We used to send the application in, but right now you just go online and you just fill it out, and you guys call us. We can get you directly with the person that you need to get in contact with. But yes, it's most definitely best to do that right now. Yes.
So at a minimum, I need about a 620 on the credit side to be able to qualify. Is that correct?
I got a lady down with a 580. And she was approved. So I mean, like I say, going direct they're not as credit driven as they are going guaranteed.
Will that take more time?
Sir?
Would that take more time if your credit score is below 6?
I don't think it's not necessarily based off the credit score of how long you're going to take. It's just based off of,
in and out.
Just,
we might need you to start over because you are breaking up there on the internet. We'll wait just a second. So I think what John is getting at here, you do need to have your credit does not have to be perfect, but anything you could do to help improve it along the way is always helpful. And I had linked before to John's store, John Fuller store here. That gives you access to his books and credit repair. Also, there is a credit restoration program that John offers to walk you through step by step. If you need to go from, if your credit is not even in the 500s, below that, the steps you could take to remedy that here. It'll take a little time. It's not going to be done overnight. A few months to get that score up to the place where it is going to be acceptable for USDA or FHA, or if you're a veteran, VA loans. It will be some credit requirements there as well to make sure that you have everything in place, financially speaking, to get it done. So when John comes back in, when the internet comes back up, we'll get it back on here in just a second. But that is an important part, is having that credit ready. No matter what you do, it's always better if you have good credit. Can you do no financing deals? Can you do subject to deals like we talked about? Yes, you can, but it's a small slice of the overall pie. When you can finance yourself, you're available to everything. Or you can go through a bank normally. There's nothing you can't buy. Here comes John. But when you have to go the subject to route, know that maybe only 1 in 15 people, 1 in 20 people can do that subject to route, because they have a loan balance that's high enough so you don't have to put a lot of money in. Like they're not sitting on 50% equity, for example, so that you still have to come up with a lot of money even to meet that subject to requirement for them. So it does make it easier when you can do everything. But subject to, if you're willing to search, you can find those deals and get that done. Going to see if I can't reset John real quick. That doesn't bring it into play. So with that, those are some of the things you could do to get financing done. Subject to is one, USDA is another. We'll talk more about other options here in the future, but since we don't have John right now and we're experiencing some technical difficulties, we will leave it there. Again, the live stream is on all week long. You could go back and review the archives and review this show. If you do have comments and ideas and suggestions for future shows, that'd be great. Leave that in the comments too. We'll listen to that and try and put together what meets your needs. Again, if you're interested in John's book, getting your credit repaired, shopping for a home, setting up a budget, being ready for that, you can get that at johnfuller.store. If you are interested in any of the houses he talked about, johnfullerbiz@gmail.com. Again, I'm Alex Bailey. My area is more commercial. If you have an office or you have a business that needs an office, you can go to baileyrealestate.net, look at our office park here in Columbia, South Carolina. Also, if you have a commercial office building or you have commercial deals you want to do, again, that's more my specialty. Come in for that. There's John. Looks like it's still frozen there, or in and out. Hey, John, can we hear you?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you're kind of in
I'm
and out.
here.
I was going to wrap us up
You can
real
hear-
quick here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. I was going to wrap us up.
Okay.
Here. A little bit of a short show today because I think your internet is a bit in and out because you got your shared access there in the hotel. But yeah, if you're interested in office space or any office deals, if you have an office building, you know of an office building of someone that's looking to sell, or industrial building, retail building, whatever, we're interested in those deals as well. So let us know, and then we'll be back at you guys here 10:30 a.m. next Wednesday. Our topic is to be determined. We'll look around and see what else people are interested in here from the comments, and we'll have a great show for you guys here again next
Or you
week.
guys can send in some topics. I work
Right.
on this internet. I know. I thought we was in a good place today. So
Wi-Fi is always one of those things. It depends on how many people are trying to hit it all at the same time. So
wow.
you never can tell. All right, guys. Well, that's our show today. If again, hit us up with your comments, like, share, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, tell your friends, join us for the next show, and we'll see you guys next week, 10:30 Wednesday morning. All right, guys. Bye-bye.